And safety-wise, I was just at a landowner owns a beautiful ranch. From her window, it's 400 yards away. The easement. Uh, if the condemnation case isn't heard till, I don't know, 6 months, a year and a half. Well, what if God forbid there's an explosion 400 yards from our house? Who's held accountable for that? Who?
The there is an area of the law, and I'm assuming that it is enforced adequately. The National Pipeline Safety Standards. That has been delegated. The federal law allows the states to enforce the safety standards, and they're pretty strong and they're pretty complex. It's a thick set of regulations about like that. And I am aware that the Railroad Commission, for instance, do have a large number of inspectors who attempt to make sure that the pipelines comply with these safety standards. These are federal standards. Beyond that, I don't know. I think as a general rule, the pipelines are built in conformity with those standards and probably under pretty good practices involving the welding and burying and covering them up and ensuring. Breaks happen. I mean, you read about it every once in a while in the paper. And why? I'm sure if you had 10 of them, there'd be 10 different reasons. But the complaint has not been against the safety standards that much, because that seems to be the one, at least in my experience, that's the one shining area that everybody seems to pay pretty good attention to. It's kind of like airlines. You have airplane crashes, but we don't stop building and flying airplanes.
But the difference is you make a choice to get on an airplane. These people don't have a choice.
No, they don't, and that's part of the law. They don't have a choice. And if someone like that is sitting and they're looking over there 1,200 feet away is a pipeline, what happens if it blows up? I can't tell you it won't. I think the probability is pretty strong that there won't be one. But if you want an absolute, no, nobody can give you that.
Well, it goes with the whole notion. A lot of people watched Kelsey Warren. He did an interview on PBS in terms of the Dakota Access Pipeline. This is state-of-the-art, thick steel, very, very small chance of a leak. Well, small chance is still a chance. And if it's leaks in a water body that serves 18 million people, who is Kelsey Warren to play God with people's lives? Same thing here. Forget Kelsey Warren. Who is an oil company to put the lives of women, men, people who have owned ranches? I've just met a guy for 25 years. You're putting those people at jeopardy, whether there's a small or large chance.
The North Dakota one is an oil pipeline, and it is an interstate pipeline. And my understanding is that for whatever reason, it was Corps of Engineers that had at least something to do with the crossing of the main river. Who has jurisdiction of the rest of it? In the old days would have been an Interstate Commerce Commission who handled oil pipelines, and I suspect unless somebody's changed the law, that's it. Oil pipelines are different in the regulatory framework. What the Corps of Engineers, what process they went through, I don't have any idea, but the problem in my mind, with the Dakota line may be a problem with the law. If the proposed line is subjected to public input, which I got a hunch it wasn't.
No, it was. They were going to put it through Bismarck, a predominantly white town. They said no.
Oh, I'm sure that would have not happened. Yeah. But had the Sioux Nation known that the proposed line was coming through property that they're fighting over, and had the ability to go and say, wait a minute, guys, don't put it here, put it over there. It may have been a different outcome. But my understanding of the situation is that the trenching machine showed up and they didn't know they were coming. We've got the same problem in Texas. You have to understand that the route of a pipeline is determined internally by a corporation. It is rubber stamped by the commission, Railroad Commission. There is no public input as to the size of the line, where the line is going, what it's going to carry, how big it is, how deep it's going to be buried in the ground. Nothing. Nobody has a clue until people show up and says, I can take your property. So I'm back to the same point where I started. The law has got to be changed. Now, whether that will happen or not, I don't know. And the difficulty, again, is the dominant members of the Senate and the House are from big cities. This is not an issue. You got how many people in Brewster County? 15,000. Pecos County, another 15,000. You got 30,000 people out there complaining. And it's a long way away. It's 600 miles out there. So, very, very hard.